And this is my DR650. We're going to go ahead and give this little bike a bit of an upgrade. We're going to open up the airbox. We're going to improve some performance items on the carburetor and see if we can't squeeze a little more power, make our throttle response better, and just overall make the bike run better and be a little more efficient on fuel. So let's get into it. Okay, our next step is we're going to remove this tank. So okay, so in case any of you were wondering why I'm wearing this goofy hat, this is the hat cam, so this is the way I can show you what's going on. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this gas tank. So when I first went to take it off, I had it on prime for some dumb reason, I don't know, maybe halfway between on and prime, and it leaked everywhere. And just after running this pretty dry, this tank, I flipped it over to reserve, and what I noticed was when I went from prime to reserve, I didn't get anything out of the tank. And then I remembered this is a vacuum operated petcock. So for any of you that are wondering what that means, basically is the vacuum from the motor is what drives that petcock to let fuel through, in my very basic, kindergarten, not a mechanic type of terminology. So in other words, the motor has to be running for you to be able to fill the float bowl, or to make the gas go from the gas tank to the carburetor, which then goes into the motor. So if anybody were wondering, I have this now off. You can see the cord is right there, is off, and there's no gas coming out of it because it's on the on position. So just make sure you're aware of that. In on or reserve, it's not going to let any fuel out. Only in the prime position will it actually let fuel out, and that is because that is a bypass for all that vacuum stuff. So hope that helps if anybody was wondering or is confused. So either buy this goofy hat or by the operation of the vacuum carburetor. So we'll continue taking this thing apart. Okay, so here's the old girl with this. We got to make sure I don't drop these off, so we'll just pull them off so I don't lose them. And we'll put those here on the tray, maybe. And alright, so this is our choke right here. This is our accelerator cables here. This is for the gas. We've got this little thing here. This is a fuel filter. Now since I've got this taken apart, I might as well pull this out and clean this thing if I can get it out of there without breaking it. Jeez. Yeah, when they say that's the smallest filter known to man, they ain't kidding. I think we're going to have to replace that because I just don't trust it. So I think we're going to go with a regular fuel filter. I think I've got a couple hanging around here. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this and this screw here, and that's going to allow us to rotate this carburetor towards us here. So now I can't stress the importance of good quality screwdrivers. You know, they just it just makes such a big difference to have good quality tools, and that because you know the cheap tools, it's nice to be able to buy stuff cheap and all, but what you save in dollars will oftentimes cost you down the line. At least in my opinion it does. And I have found that a good tool can make the difference between a quick, easy repair and something that is nightmarishly long in its scope. So, you know, if you've ever fought a screw or a bolt that gets stripped out, you know, it's well worth. Well, that's annoying. There we go. It's well worth having the proper tools for the job. I just want to be careful as I take this apart here and make sure I don't lose any parts. You know, although parts are readily available for this machine, they're not readily available in my town, so it's something where I've got to be really careful with it, just because I don't want to have to order what I need. This is designed to be a very cheap, very easy upgrade. Okay, so there's the cap. We've got an O-ring there that looks like it's still okay. Carefully pull this spring out. Looks alright. I'm going to try to rotate this just a bit more because I want to get this to where I'm pulling this straight out of the top of the carburetor. I don't want to hook that on anything. Get that wire loom out of the way. So this is our slide. So this top section here creates a vacuum, and what it does is it allows, so when it goes up and down inside the carburetor here, and there's actually a wear mark right here. And if I use a screwdriver point, right there is a wear mark, and as soon as that wear mark disappears, that slide guide needs to be replaced. It looks like I've got some time still, it's still there, so I'm going to carefully remove that. And actually this one might already be tapered, so because it's not a factory one. The reason I say that is if you can see that there, it doesn't have any of the notches. So this is not the stock needle that gives you adjustability. So what I'm going to do is, if you can see down there, there's a little shelf down there. And that shelf allows you, I wonder though, this might be a different deal, so I am being cautious with this. Like I say, these things can make or break your motor, and so I don't want to ruin my carburetor or ruin this needle, where this looks like this might be already an upgraded needle, and I think it is. So I'm not going to change that today, but what we are going to do is going to drill this hole in this slide. Okay, I'm going to do this out here where you can see it. We've got a hole here, and there's the two holes. We're not going to do anything with the center hole. We're going to drill out this hole on this side. Okay. Okay, so since all we're doing is just drilling that out, I'm going to go ahead and just place this back on here. I want to make sure that everything looks good, which it does. Put the spring in there. Okay. So I'm just going to very gently put this screw in, and then this side I'm not going to tighten either of them until I get them both down, just to make sure I've got everything down properly. Okay, and I'll just try to evenly put these tighten these down, but I'm not going to tighten them a lot. I'm not going to over torque or anything like that. Call this a 2-finger tight. So it should be not too tight there. Alright. What's up, dude?
What are you working on?
Oh, the carburetor.
What's wrong with it?
Well, from factory, these tend to be a little bit under jetted. So they have a... Jetting is when you have a... and we're talking about how much fuel this thing actually kicks through into the motor. And they tend to keep this pretty choked down, so they're from the factory they're made to be pretty weak. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to open up the carburetor basically so it can breathe better, and we're going to take this snorkel out and cut a hole in there and put a bigger jet in there, and it will cause it to burn more efficiently, and it's supposed to actually increase the fuel efficiency. I'm not sure if it actually will, but we're going to give it a shot.
Wait, this is the snorkel thingy that you're going to put a whole bigger hole in?
We're going to pull this out and then cut a hole in the top of that box right there.
Oh.
That one worked pretty good. Okay, you can put that lid back on that. Okay, this is kind of a neat tool. It's by Craftsman, and it's just something I keep in my collection here. But oh, sweet. Broke it loose. You want to get some gloves on?
What kind of gloves?
Just those rubber gloves, the surgical. Yeah, surgical. They're up there on the counter. You can help me with this. Okay, see how I'm holding this? I'm pushing up on that little float ball. Can you push up on it? That'll just stop it from leaking. Okay, so I'm using this little tool here. Okay, I'm going to rotate this carburetor towards me, okay? That's it, just keep pushing up on it. So I'm pushing up on it with one hand and taking it out with the other. Okay, so that looks pretty good. As you can see there's no deposits, there's no residue or anything like that. So with that, this is our main jet right here. Okay. There's a little sleeve, and the main jet's right here. And looks like we've got a 135. So with that, I'm going to go to a 145. So now we got that. So 145. Man, I hope that's not too much to change it. Okay, and now I'm going to put this on here, and I got to be really careful not to over tighten these because you can really ruin them fast. So, got to use a lot of caution. So this goes back up in here. I'll wiggle that around a little bit, will you? Wiggle that around. There we go. Whoa. And my hands are not very coordinated today. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going to check, now that I've got this carburetor back in place, I think that's pretty close to in the right position, and I've torqued down the bowl bolts. I'm just checking everything to make sure it's still in a good spot, so I'm checking all these cords and everything. I'll go ahead and put this back into place. Okay. And just looking at, you know, all the if, ands, and buts and making sure everything looks good as far as where it's at. Okay, looks like I'm getting a little bit of oil here on the top. Keep watching that. I might have to replace those crush bolts or something. But you expect a little bit with a 20-year-old bike. Boy, that's not nearly as easy as we make it look like on YouTube. There we go. Whew. I think we'll see how it runs without cutting the hole first. So what sometimes they do, grab one of those rags, will you? So we're letting a whole bunch more gas into the carburetor, right? We're also going to open it up and give it more air. So the way we do that is remove that snorkel that was sitting right here. It'll get we'll have to watch the air filter a little better because it'll suck in the air a little bit better. But this really helps that breathe. So you see the snorkel right there next to those red screwdrivers? Yeah, so I removed that. That was in here. And so I removed that, and a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll cut a hole right here, about a 2-inch hole. Right there, but I want to see how it runs before I do that. So we'll get the gas tank put on and then we'll see how that does. But in the meantime, I gotta go ahead and tighten these down. I think that's where it was. Okay, just for looks. Get the heat shield there. We'll prime that. That'll fill the float bowl. It doesn't look like we're going to leak anything, so that's good. Okay, so we'll give about 45 seconds filling the float bowl, and we'll start it up and see how it sounds. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this to on, and we'll turn the thing on, and we'll choke. Boy, the response is a lot better. We're getting a little bit of chokiness here, so just change our mixture just a touch. Okay, so it's running less. So we're going to try going back a quarter turn. So here's a quarter. Here's another quarter. See how that does. Okay, so we're going to have to reset this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way in. Alright. Okay, so that's all the way in. So I'm going to come out, there's a fourth, half, another fourth, hole, and mark this. Okay, so you can see I've made a T here, and I made a little line there. That way I know exactly where everything is. So I'm going to go ahead and run this all the way in, if I can find it here. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's all the way in, and my T is right here. So I'll come out. There's one turn. Here's 1.5, and then 1 3/4 right there. Okay, and then we'll choke it. Make sure we're not low on gas. that response is remarkable. Just a little bit of hesitation there, I think. Might be still running a little bit rich. So, I can find it here. Okay, so we're just going to go 1/8 of a turn open. Wow, what a difference. Yeah, it feels a lot better. Now if we kill this. That is so much better. Alright, I think we're there. Okay, we'll button this back up together and take her for a ride. So we pulled the snorkel out, drilled an extra hole, and widened the existing hole to 1/8 of an inch in the slide, causing that to have a much better frequency or throttle response on it. We swapped out the main jet from the existing 135 main jet to a 145, and we left the needle in the way it was because it looked to be already tapered. And it looked like some kind of an upgraded needle. It didn't have an adjustment capability to it, so I didn't feel that we really needed to change that at this time. So it seems to be really responsive, really worked well. The only real hiccup we had was pulling the stupid plug out of the bottom of that carburetor for that air fuel mixture. But once we got that taken care of, it was a quick little easy thing to do. And if I had to do it again, it would only take me a couple minutes. So pretty fun, quick little experiment, and it really changes the attitude of this machine to be pretty meek and mild to now have a pretty quick and hearty response, and I can't wait to get on her and take her for a ride. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the trails.